Hi. Wow. Okay. I wanted to film a video today because I was feeling bored. I have nothing better to do, right? I'm gonna tell you right now though, my uterus is doing backflips, okay? Like, is doing the hokey pokey and turning itself around right now. Oh my God. So if I just kind of like lose myself for a second, you know what's going on. My uterus is throwing up gang signs. This is what I get for not getting pregnant. Hello, viewer. Hi. If you're new here, shit, I can't even do the intro. Let's just get into it. So, I've been wanting to make a video for a while now about my lock journey because I've gone through two of them, right? But then I decided it would be much more interesting to talk about my relationship with my hair in general because it's very complicated. And while I talk about that, I'm gonna take out my twists because they've been in for just a little too long. So strap in and let me take you back to, I think, kindergarten, yeah. So, I was a very young child. Where am I going with this? I was very young when I first became like aware of my hair and the fact that it was different from others around me. I didn't grow up like solely around white people, but I did grow up around enough white people to be aware of my race, right? While growing up, I did not receive like a lot of validation for my blackness, you know? I was actually very shocked when I found out that like other black kids had parents who like went out of their way to tell them that their skin is beautiful, that their features are beautiful, their hair is beautiful, because I didn't get that. And I'm only assuming I didn't get that because my parents didn't get that. But you know, as a black child, as a young black child, it's really important for people to tell you these things because otherwise, you'll end up like me and you'll end up hating your hair. Now, the path to me loathing my hair was a very quick one, right? My mom did not know how to do my hair, point blank period. And I'm assuming it's also because she didn't know how to do hers. So when she would do my hair, I can only describe it as being torturous. It was incredibly painful. She loved to dry brush from root to tip. You don't do that with hair, period, but especially with black hair. No ma'am, no ham, no turkey, no spam. So she didn't know what she was doing, and she also, I don't think she really cared about my level of discomfort. You know, I would be like screaming at the top of my lungs. Like when I tell you hair day was excruciating for me, because not only was it incredibly painful, but you know, I was also neurodivergent. So the entire day was just an overstimulating mess of having my mom's rough ass hands in my hair. Not a good time, right? So from a young age, I already kind of had this association that like my hair equaled pain, right? Anytime anyone was touching my hair, I was incredibly uncomfortable. And anytime my mom was in my hair, I was in extreme pain. Of course, she gets tired of my screaming and hollering, and I get tired of being in pain. She starts sending me to go get my hair done, right? Like, literally, as soon as I was old enough to sit in a salon chair, I was in a salon chair. And, you know, I was still tender-headed as hell. And I remember, like, going to my mom and being like, I hate this shit. I didn't say shit. I was like, I hate this. I hate my hair. I want to shave it off and go bald because the pain, the frustration, I hate it. And she was like, Kenny, beauty is pain. Yeah, when I got my hair done as a kid, I always got it straightened. And this did not help with the loathing, like at all, because when my hair was straightened, not only was it less painful, like a brush could go through it very easily, I didn't have to spend as much time, or my mom didn't have to spend as much time getting me ready in the morning. I'm not going to say nobody complimented my natural hair, because, you know, they might have, and I don't remember it. But the most compliments I ever received on my hair was when I got it straightened. Like, I vividly remember I would go into class with my hair freshly pressed. Everybody would be like, ooh and ah, and like all my teachers would compliment me. And like when you put together all of these factors, my mom being rough with my hair being associated with pain, straight hair being like beautiful, it all came together to form the perfect little ball of self-loathing. I used to wish that my hair was always straight so that I could always feel beautiful and always have hair that was easy to do. So for most of my life, I'm keeping my hair straight, and I'm not even like focused on my relationship with my hair or anything like that. It didn't even occur to me. Hold on. Sorry, that band was not letting go. It didn't even occur to me that like I had a negative perception of my hair because, again, most of my hair influence was coming from my mom. And in the 16 years that I knew my mom, I can maybe count on one hand how many times she wore her natural hair out. I do believe that not seeing my mom with her natural hair out, like ever, definitely had some kind of like subconscious effect on me. So as I get older, start moving into middle school, my mom starts relaxing, aka perming my hair. Again, I didn't really give a fuck. Whatever made it easier and less painful, I didn't care. And my mom was like, oh, well, this will make it easier and less painful. She also neglected to tell me that there's like a bunch of fucking chemicals in there and I'm like frying my scalp, but whatever. So like for a year I was getting perms, and then something happened in middle school, right? Okay, so I had gone to a different middle school than the one that I had been going to. And at this new middle school, we had a librarian whose name was Miss Dobbs. And, you know, she was one of those teachers who likes to talk shit for pretty much like all the class period. And then like at the end, she'll give you an assignment. I don't even remember how like we got to the topic as a class, but she said something that like completely rearranged my brain. She said that if you get perms, you're stupid. Like perming your hair is possibly one of the dumbest things you could do to it. And then she starts talking about like how bad it is for you, how bad it is for your hair. And I'm soaking this all up. Like this is the first time I have ever heard anybody say anything negative about a perm. And for some reason, it really like stuck with me. I go to my mom and I'm like, I don't want to perm my hair anymore. And she's like, okay, fine, whatever. But like, if you're going to do the natural hair, you know, like that's your thing. You're going to have to do it on your own, basically. Doing my hair on my own was a difficult task, obviously, because at that point I still hadn't like undone the negative internal biases I had towards my hair. So, you know, I still thought it was a burden. I still hated doing it. And, you know, I thought going into like the natural hair phase where I'm like trying all these products and trying to style my hair, I thought that would fix it, and it didn't. It actually just made everything worse. It really made it abundantly clear. Like at that point, I was like, okay, I don't have the mental chops to consistently do this, because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of arm strength. And it also takes a good bit of mental fortitude that I did not have, right? So from the like middle of middle school to freshman year, I'm doing my own hair. It's also worth noting at this point that my mom was not like my biggest fan. I mean, she didn't, it's hard to explain, right? Because it wasn't like she was like, oh, you need to press your hair, you need to do this, da 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 da. But I would like go out with my natural hair and she would be like, girl, your shit looks nappy. And of course, you know, that negatively impacted me. Like, I already don't have a good relationship with my hair. And then here comes my mom being like, ooh, your shit's nappy, you need to do something with it. After I just spent maybe like an hour trying to do a wash and go. Yeah, my real breaking point came with the pandemic hit. I was incredibly stressed out, incredibly depressed, especially from our living situation, because we were basically homeless again. The only good thing about that living situation is that I was with my cousin. Shout out to my cousin. I don't know if you're watching this, but hey, you know who you are. Shout out. Thank you for doing my hair during that time. For that like time that we were living together, my cousin did my hair and it was great, you know. I really enjoyed not having to have like the mental load of doing my hair. And also, she's good at doing hair, you know. She's not like my mom. She doesn't yank and pull and do all of this like but I remember there was one night, right, where I was basically being dragged out the house by my mom. You know, she was kind of like a what I say goes kind of person. So even though I knew I didn't want to leave the house, she was like, I don't really give a fuck about how you feel, you're going. So now I had to figure out what to do with my hair. So I'm in the bathroom trying to do something. My cousin comes in and I'm like, hey, can you help me out? And she's like, no. And I'm like, well, why not? And she's like, because I don't feel like it. And then she leaves. And that moment, it literally sent me into like a very intense emotional breakdown because I was just so tired. After she left, I proceeded to grab a pair of scissors and just like stare at them for 15 minutes, contemplating if showing up to that dinner with my hair fucked up was going to be worth the ass whooping I would get from my mom. I decided that it was not worth it. I put the scissors down and I went to dinner with my hair looking a hot ass mess because I didn't know how to do it and my cousin didn't want to do it. I'm sitting at the dinner, and while I'm at the dinner, my other cousin is like trying to give me tips on how to like do my hair actually. And it was during that moment where I made my mind up. I was like, I'm cutting my hair. I'm not. It's not worth it. The misery isn't worth it. I'm fucking tired. I need a reset. If I had it my way, I would have shaved my head. But, you know, my family's black. They weren't gonna let me do that. So I cut my hair. It was cool. But it was definitely kind of a temporary solution. Did I finish taking all of these out? I started talking and I just completely abandoned the quest at hand. Because what ended up happening, right? You know, I was using less product and I was taking less time and it was easier to manage. But something happened, right? While I was wearing my hair short, I went to my dad's barber and I got a haircut from him. And that haircut was so bad that I took it as a sign from God to stop cutting my hair. I'll never forget this haircut, okay? Basically what this man did, he pretty much like shaved me on my sides, like all damn near bald, and left like 1 inch of hair on the top of my head. I cried as soon as I left his chair. And I don't even know how he messed it up because I had gotten my hair cut by him before. And the first time he did a great job. So what happened? But yeah, you know, that haircut was so bad. I was like, I'm just going to grow my hair out now. And, you know, growing my hair out was going fine until it got too long. Once it started getting too long and it started taking too much time and too much product, I was like, all right, I got to figure out something else to do because I really just can't be bothered, to be honest. And that is when I started my first set of locks. I'm trying to be really thorough with this because every time I take my twists out, I always forget one. And I'll just be like walking around with like just one fat ass twist in the back that hasn't been taken out. Okay, so my first lock journey, it lasted about 6 months, right? I get my locks done, and I will say this is maybe like the first time that I ever remember like being incredibly self-conscious about my hair because I did not like that style. I don't want to say that starter locks are like a humiliation ritual, but yeah, it felt kind of crazy going out with them. I definitely learned a lot of lessons about like trusting the process. Yeah, because baby, them first maybe like 2-3 months, you know, my first set of locks, you know, they start locking up, they're looking good, but I'm noticing that they are just a little too thin for my liking. I wanted them thick. I wanted them fluffy. So I hunkered down for about a week and I combed them out. And well, hold on. Let me throw away these rubber bands because they're on my desk right now and they keep distracting me. Hold on. I also need to check the way my hair looks, but I know for a fact if I do it now, I'm gonna forget what I was talking about. Okay, first set of locks. They were cool, too thin. I hunkered down, I combed them out. One thing about combing out locks, I am never doing that shit again. Never again. It was so time consuming and also surprisingly painful. It's not happening again. My hands were out of commission for maybe like a week after. I mean, I think it was worth it because I do like this set of locks more, but would I do it again? No ma'am, no ham, no turkey, no spam. I comb out my locks. I don't tell my loctician. I pop up at his shop like, surprise, shawty, with my afro out. And I mean, I don't even know what kind of emotions he was feeling because I could not read his face at all. But you know, I go in, I get my second set of locks, and here we are now. I think I'm coming up on no, I'm not coming up on 3 years. It's been 3 years. 3 years. Yeah, I think it's been 3 years. That's cray. Or 2 years. I don't know how to count. But okay, before I get into this last section, let me just look at my hair real quick, because if it looks stupid and I've been just like talking for 10 minutes, I'm gonna be so mad. Okay, so I just looked at it and I don't think it looks ugly, but I do feel like a bisexual poodle. What was I gonna talk about? Oh, right. I just wanted to say starting a lock journey has really been the best thing for me and for my hair, because it finally gave me the room and the space to really love and appreciate my hair for what it is, you know? Like I said, that starter lock phase is rough, okay? You cannot go through a lock journey without being able to accept your hair in all of its forms, you know? And even when the lock journey is done and you're complete and they're all mature like mine, you still have to deal with like people breathing down your back and telling you need retwists. I know you can't see my scalp. I don't care. Leave me alone. But you know, I just really love having locks, because now that the work and the overstimulating ass wash days have been removed, I really do love my hair now. Like, I love seeing it grow. I love trying new styles. Like, it's really just a kind of freedom that I don't think I ever would have had with my loose natural hair. Sometimes I do miss it though. I do miss, like, sometimes I'll be watching videos of girls doing their hair and they let the water go all through and they touching their scalp and stuff, and I'm like, damn, I kind of miss that. But you know what I don't miss? I don't miss detangling. I don't miss nearly passing out in the shower. I don't really miss anything that came with having to have loose natural hair. It is so much more labor intensive. Well, you know what? I'll say this. It's only labor intensive when you're trying to make it look like what it is not. I firmly believe that if Black people didn't have like such high standards for our natural hair, things would be so much better. Like back when I had my natural hair, if I could just leave the house after spraying a little water, a little conditioner, life would have been so much better. But no, I gotta slick it back or put it up in a bun to be presentable. Like, I don't wanna. And anytime I didn't, my mom was the first person breathing down my neck talking about my shit look nappy. Let's see your hair. Mom, I'm sorry. Please don't come back from the grave. Please don't come back from the grave. Moral of the story, if you're gonna have a Black child, tell them that their Blackness is beautiful. Tell them that their hair is beautiful. Otherwise, they're gonna wish that they were white. Moral of the story, if you have a black child, make sure you enforce that their blackness is beautiful, that their hair is beautiful, that their features are beautiful, because at the end of the day, we live in an anti-black society. Even if you tell them that their blackness is beautiful, we live in a society that is going to tell them anything but. Okay, like my insecurities didn't just come from not having my mom enforce me, but I also didn't get any positive enforcement from the people around me. I didn't get any positive reinforcement from the media. It wasn't until very, very fucking recently that I've seen people who had hair like mine being portrayed as beautiful or attractive. Even like in cartoons, you see like people, they'll get like electrocuted and then they'll have afros for comedic effect. Or, of course, you have, like, those movies where the girl who has curly hair and glasses gets rid of those and she straightens her hair and all of a sudden she's fucking beautiful. Like, that does something. All of that does a number on the subconscious, especially a young one like mine. I received all of these, like, messages about my hair from the people around me and from media, and it followed me. Like, all of these beliefs about my hair followed me for a very long time. It's sad because I got lucky, you know? I got lucky to be able to like step back and realize all of these things that I've been programmed to believe were wrong. Most black people don't. Case in point, my mom, like I said earlier, 16 years I knew her and I can count on one hand the amount of times I've seen her natural hair. That's my 2 cents for the day. I'm gonna go lay down now. Mama's tired and my uterus is still doing backflips. So, I will see y'all. Wait. Sorry, I need a thumbnail. Okay. One of those has to be good. Alright. I'll see y'all in the next video. Arrivederci.